Hey YouTube, it's good to be back. I wanted to talk about the strange messages that came through, decode those with you, and possibly give a better explanation for the 41818 code. The messages started with the phonetic spelling of danger and SOS. I did not translate this message because it is an easy code to break, nor will I repeat that message in this video. The Morse code, number by letters, and number series I did translate and will go over with you. I also have an alternative translation for the 41818 code. Before I go into the translations, I want to share with you what I think these messages may actually be, and as we go through the messages, I will better explain my theories. Both theories really are plausible, and some may even expect these. No, I'm not going to talk about the disappearing airplanes. That would be like trying to compare this to Sandy Hook. First on the list is Stephen Hawking's because we already know or should know his name is mentioned in one of the messages. But what we don't know is why. So either the man dies and, like Enoch, tries to speak to the gods on our behalf, and this is the gods' responding message, or we can go the more practical route and say that this was Hawking's final hurrah and his nerdy way of being remembered one last time. I really like the solar flare interference idea. Basically, someone said this message is not meant for us to see, and only due to solar activity did we get to experience this mix up. For option number two, I would like to also suggest interference, but from China and not the sun. Option number two really is not going to add up right away. In fact, we have to decode the messages before China can be considered. I do not believe these messages are Indonesian because if they were intelligence or military, then it would be in their language, which then you can rebuttal my theory of China by saying the same. Not exactly, because this could be a marketing campaign. China has some crazy marketing strategies like the angel saving the guy on the bike who was almost hit by the truck. So many people questioned if this was a real video. That was actually a marketing campaign that came out of China for a video game. So yes, this being some type of China marketing scheme would not only make sense, but accuse a party that has been guilty of these types of marketing ploys. Now, the question is why China would want to do this? And that's simple. China did not like Trump taking Taiwan's call, and they do not like that the US is willing to speak to them as a country. China does not like this because they view Taiwan as China, just like America sees New York and California as a part of the US. The US is taking calls from negotiating with and forming a relationship with Taiwan, and that could be considered disrespectful. The first text message was probably the easiest to decode because you simply match letters and numbers. One is A, two is B, and so on. This message says they are taking over for 1818, which many assume means 418 2018. I, however, have an alternative solution to this code that I will go into detail about. The Morse code message I thought was easy to figure out because it looks like Morse code, but typed out. I checked into the different types of code, and it would appear that this message can be translated using the international style of Morse code. The message says, "The message you received is well related to Stephen Hawking's death. You are not ready to face them." The final message was a bit more difficult because the message used ACSII coding. This message's top line was cut off, but I came up with, "Not supposed to send this to you, but I concern your safety." The last few figures viewed as 10, 215, 72, 105, 74 was a bit more difficult. 10 in ACSII means line feed or starting point. 215 is the multiplication symbol. And the last three figures are 72, 105, 74, which stands for capital H, lowercase I, capital J. HIJ is the partial name of the user that received those messages according to the screenshot. There is an HIJ or Hij River in Romania, and the HIJ is the acronym for the Japan International Airport. This code is found in the voicemail. Many people think the number is coordinates. The number can be translated into degrees and then a location identified. I agree with this possibility, but wanted to check on other options. The first picture I have up on the left has a few different decoding tryouts. My first attempt was the number to letters decoding, but that creates a mess of a message. Next, I attempted to break it down into Unicode, which 0429 was a Russian letter symbol and sounds like our sh, but does not have a meaning. 3396 is this symbol that looks like the word me, but is a mathematical symbol. I did find a definition for the symbol, and it means a subtle invention or device. And finally, 4230 was not assigned a Unicode. On this picture, I also attempted to find any other code I noticed repeated and mirrored numbers, so I felt obligated to try, but nothing. The picture on the right, I tried to point out those repeat mirrors and flips, but nothing. Then I used the most current ACSII code, which is also meaningless. And finally, I used the PGP coding, which translates this number series to more nonsense, but the message would read alkali, breakup, concurrent, prefer, December, chairlift. At least that final attempt produced words. I'm going to assume that we were all right and assuming that this number sequence is in fact coordinates. Finally, let's talk about the 41818 code. I do not believe the 41818 has been cracked. Yes, people seem to think it is a date, which is a good idea, but is it the only explanation? The code came from the same text that was letter to numbers, so if we use the key code to decipher, we could get any of these options. DAHAH, DRAH, DRR, DAHR. Code 41818 does not match any coding except for Unicode. Unicode's definition is an international encoding standard, which is interesting because this is the same type that was used in the Morse code. So it's an international encoding standard for use with different languages and scripts by which each letter, digit, or symbol is assigned a unique numeric value that applies across different platforms and programs. So again, this source was difficult to match up, but the Unicode number 41818 produces this symbol. My first idea was that this character was some form of ancient Celtic, but that's wrong. This is the Yi symbol for Zur. The Yi language is the prestige language of the Yi people. It has been chosen by the Chinese government as the standard Yi language. Translated, the Zur word means to cheat someone, mislead, or swindle. Is this puzzle solved? To be honest, I don't know. I feel that the Unicode explanation is better than the date of 41818, but we really won't know until nothing happens on that day, which is about 28 days away. But there are two plausible options to the message, one being Hawkins' death. Why not give one last hurrah after death? One of the messages does contain his name. The code keys seem a bit computer orientated. The treasure hunt ended with a message. Basically, you made it this far, good job, but it was all for fun. The second, also plausible option, the China marketing scheme. Of course, they're guilty of this false advertising, the angel saving the biker, people changing time and walking through doors at a convenience store. The 41818 code leads directly back to China. They have plenty of reasons to threaten the US. We talk to Taiwan as a country, and we're putting tariffs on imported materials, which they're not happy with either. Thanks for listening to this video. I really appreciate you guys. Of course, I encourage you to put your own comments in here. Let me know what you think. If you agree or disagree with my opinions, I definitely want to have an open conversation. If you think you found a different way to decipher the 41818 code, I definitely want to hear it.